Aloha class. Today I'm going to be showing how to put a logo as well as the thumbnails into the website that we created. And so first I'm going to take this layout and go ahead and add our logo. I'll go to the logo that we created in the last assignment. I'll select it, select all and group it together so that we can move it over at the same time. I copy it from this page, and then we're going to paste it onto our layout. This box that I here up in the top left corner, this is designated for the space of our logo. So I move it over to here, and then when I'm going to resize it, I hold down the Shift key, and that way when we make it bigger or smaller, it won't distort your logo image. I like it about right here, and so I'll keep it right here. And then next, I just need to delete this box that we have in the background. So select that and delete it. If we kind of step back and look at it, the logo is a lot darker than the rest of our layout, so I'm going to lighten it up a little bit by selecting it and changing the transparency to about 55%. That'll make it a little bit, that'll bring the value down to make it fit more in with the rest of our page. And so that's how we go ahead and add our logo. Next, I'm going to add in the thumbnails for some of our videos right here. What I did is I took our videos that we made in previous classes, and I took screenshots of them, and then I went ahead and cropped them down to size. For the thumbnails, the size has to be pretty specific. The aspect ratio is 16 by 9. So the screenshots of the thumbnails that I took, I cropped them down to 133 by 75 pixels. And so now I'll go ahead and add those into our site. So we go ahead here and click on File and Place, and then I have to go ahead and find those in our computer. And so once I have those, I bring them in to our site and place them right where our areas for the designated thumbnails are. So here's the first one. Go ahead and do the same thing. Place. Find the one that I want to place. That was the same one, so I'll go do that again. That brings the second one on over. And then we have both of our thumbnails in here. Now what we need to do is, because these are videos, we need to distinguish that they're videos by putting some type of play button on there. So next, what I'm going to do right here is right in the middle, I'm going to add in a play button. So what we're going to do is, in order to make those play buttons, is go ahead and select a new file, and then we're going to add in the same width and height size as our thumbnail. And then I'll go ahead and add this, or I'll name this thumbnail. So that opens up a new page, and we'll go ahead and zoom out just so it's easier to work with. And then I'm going to copy and paste from my page the actual thumbnail that we have and add that in here. It's really pixelated because we've zoomed into it. So from here, we will go ahead and use the ellipse tool to go ahead and create a circle. Holding down the Shift key, I can make the circle in here. It makes it a perfect circle, and that's what we want. I just really don't like this border that we have, so it's too thick. So I'm going to take that border out, and then instead of having this white, I'll go ahead and make this gray, just to kind of make it look a little bit better. Now what we have to do is add in the triangle, or the actual play symbol button. So what we'll do is we'll use the grid to do that. And using the pin tool, we can then create a triangle. We can make just a big triangle and then resize it down later. So obviously this is too big, so what we'll do is we'll resize it down and then add it into the circle that we have. So holding shift, we can go ahead and make this a smaller button. And what I'll do is I'll make this white so it goes over the gray circle that we have here. And there we have our play button, but obviously it's a little bit too bold, so what I'm going to do is take down the capacity a little bit. I found that about 60 is good for these. That way you can still see the back of the thumbnail, but you can also see the play button, and it obviously still looks now like a link that we can click on and watch a video. It's a good idea to maybe save these so we have this saved in a thumbnail file for future use. Now what we'll do is we'll copy and paste this play button into our website on the top of the thumbnails. So what I'll do is I'll paste this and then copy it right over the top of our thumbnail, and then I'll do that again and add that into our second one. That way we have it on both. Now I forgot to delete the gray boxes that we had set up for saving our spots, so I'll go ahead and delete those gray boxes now. Next, what we're going to go ahead and do is take care of some of this open space that we have on the left. We're going to add a pull quote and also an example of a website. So first, a lot of times we'll have a request from a client to add things like a pull quote or kind of change things around with the website. So sometimes we'll have to play around with the layout that we've first come up with, and so this is kind of good practice to add something in the white space that we have. So what we'll do is we'll add a text box here for our pull quote, and then in this text box we're going to make sure that it's right aligned, and I'm just going to write a pull quote is important text that is separate from our main text. Just kind of explaining what a pull quote is, and then what we can do if we want, we can kind of play around with it to make it bigger or smaller. We can kind of adjust it. We want to make sure that it's aligned neat though with the main text of our article. Other things we can do, we can change the size of the text itself, or we can change the color, the value of it, to kind of the main, I guess, importance of this is to keep it separate from our main text, so it stands out a little bit. By doing that, it kind of emphasizes and puts an emphasis on the importance of this this pull quote that we have here. Next, what we're going to do is to make it stand out a little bit more is add a box around it. That way, here I'll add the box here, and then I'll kind of lighten the color so it's not too dominant. By doing this, by adding the box, placing the text over it, bring that forward so it's over the box. It actually puts more emphasis on it than we had before, but it doesn't take too much dominance, and it doesn't take away from the text of our article. And then next, what I'll do is I'll just move up this whole section so it's in line with the rest of our text, and then if we take away the unhighlight it, this is what it looks like. This is a pull quote that we may have somewhere on our site. Next, what we'll do in this bottom space right under the pull quote is I'll go ahead and add in a example of a website. I did a search online for modern websites and found an example that I'd like to put in here. So like what we did before, I'll copy this and then paste it onto our site. And then by holding down the Shift key and adjusting the size, can go ahead and align that so it fits in with the size of our pull quote. Right here, if we zoom in, we can make sure it's aligned in properly and make sure that it just has good proportions with everything else that we have. Generally, we want to pick a color scheme that doesn't take away too much attention from the other parts of our site. The reason I kind of picked this color is because I felt that it matched up well with our thumbnails, being kind of a bluer grayish color, and so that's the reason I picked this example of the website for our page. But when you pick your own, just make sure it's not anything that's too extreme, and that won't take too much attention away from your website. So today we worked on adding a logo, adding thumbnails, and then also adding a pull quote as well as an example website. Good luck doing this to your own website as well.